This is the new Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro, and this is evolution and legacy combined. Hi everyone, this is JD, your gadget review friend. Welcome back to Gadget Rev Now. The evolution of a smartphone is going really fast. I would say on some areas like cameras, the evolution is plateauing a little bit. But from the camera technology, speed, and unique features, they came a long way. Smartphones started from a phone with a full screen. Now they're like computers that fits your pocket. And because of the evolution, there's a lot of legacy features that were removed from the older generation of smartphones. But what if there's a certain phone that gives you all the legacy features, but also evolved into a really good smartphone that can keep up with the latest and the greatest? Today, Xiaomi sent us the Redmi Note 13 Pro for review, but as always, this will be an independent review of Gadget Rev Now. We will unbox it, talk about the features and the highlights, and do a full review. Let's go to work. First, we will do the unboxing and talk about the features, but if you'd like to jump to the other parts of the video, like the full review, I will leave the timestamp on the description below. First, let's do a quick unboxing, and Xiaomi sent us a really good packaging in this phone. They put the Redmi Note 13 Pro and Pro Plus on a suitcase. If you'd like to see the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G review, I would also leave the link in the description. Checking quickly on what we have, Xiaomi sent us the 256 gigs of storage and 8 gigs of RAM configuration. They also have a max out version of 512 gigs of storage and 16 gigs of RAM. It's twice as large as this in terms of configuration, so just so you know. Opening the package, we have a small box that houses the SIM ejector tool. We also have the safety information, quick start guide, and warranty card. We also have a great TPU case, and the material is so soft, and you will see that there's a big rectangular cutout on top that houses the camera module. The camera module of the phone is just small, but this actually shows the tile-like design at the back of the phone. You would also see that the camera area is a little bit raised for protection. We also have the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro. We have the lavender color. In front of the phone, you'll see the features and highlight of this phone, and later we will talk about this, but for now, let's check what else is inside the box. We also have a 67 watts fast charger. This is a European plug. The Pro Plus has 120 watts fast charger, while the Note 13 Pro has 67 watts. And I'm pretty thankful that Xiaomi still provides fast and insane chargers out of the box. Just so you know, nowadays competition like Google, Apple, and Samsung are selling this separately. We also have a fast USB A to USB-C fast charging cable, a typical fast charging white cable, and I think that's it for the quick unboxing. Now let's talk about all the great features and highlights of the new Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro. Let's talk about the features and the highlights, and on the back of this phone, you will have 3 camera modules. One is a 200 megapixel main, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2 megapixel macro that we will test later. The camera modules are as big as the one you can find on the Note 13 Pro Plus, and these might be the same camera modules, and if you snap a case, you will see that the camera is protected and also the front screen. There's a pre-applied screen protector on the screen, which is nice, and looking at the buttons, you have the power and volume button on one side, you have a microphone, charging port, and speakers at the bottom, you have a SIM tray on the other side, and on top you have the legacy headphone jack, speakers, IR blaster, and another microphone. The color lavender looks really good, reminds me a little bit of the color of the iPhone 14 Pro Max, just a little bit lighter I think. Opening the phone and setting it up for the first time, you will see that it's running on the latest MIUI 14. Also, this phone now has an in-display fingerprint sensor. Last generation, it was a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, so this is a welcome change on the new 13 Pro. Alright, so this is the home screen of the new Redmi Note 13 Pro, and the first thing I notice is the bezels. It's ultra thin, and comparing it with the Note 13 Pro Plus, the difference is just a curved screen. It's just flat on the regular 13 Pro. Also, if you look at the back, you have a rounded camera flash on the regular 13 Pro compared to the straight design on Pro Plus. Of course, although these phones already evolved, the regular 13 Pro still retains the legacy headphone jack, and the Pro Plus doesn't have it. And I'm glad to tell you that both phones are also running on the newest and the latest MIUI 14. In terms of internal configuration, the Plus version has MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Ultra, while the regular Note 13 Pro 4G model only has the Helio G99 Ultra, but still a really good decent mid-range processor that can run almost anything on a smartphone. Checking the camera, this phone also has a 200 megapixel main sensor with OIS, and checking the sample image, it looks really detailed on my first impression. I actually took a few more samples of Redmi Note 13 Pro, and here they are. Just a little bit of clarification on some online sites. It says that the main sensor can shoot 4K recording, but on my review unit, the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro 4G, it can only shoot 1080p at 30 FPS. There's also a 5G version of this phone with Snapdragon 7S Gen 2, and that could probably shoot 4K, who knows. This is the biggest difference between the Pro and the Pro Plus, because the Pro Plus can shoot 4K at 30 FPS on the main sensor. Another highlight of this phone is the 120Hz Full HD Plus AMOLED display. The Pro Plus version has 1.5K, which is really nice, but if you look on the screen in real life, you will hardly notice the difference between 1.5K and Full HD Plus. Both Pro and Pro Plus have the same size of 6.67 inch, so if you like phones with bigger screen and you're on a budget, this phone is really good option too. Since this is an AMOLED screen technology, the blacks are pitch black and the colors are popping out on this phone. And in terms of brightness, the screen can go as high as 1300 nits, so you won't have any problems looking at the screen outdoors. The screen is flat and honestly, I like this more. The bezels are super thin, so you would enjoy watching content on this phone. This phone was also given 5000 mAh battery, and with the power-efficient MediaTek G99 Ultra, this would go a long way. I would do a separate battery test of this phone, maybe compared with the Pro Plus, so don't forget to subscribe. One of the highlights of the battery is Xiaomi provided a 67 watts fast charger, not as fast as the 120Hz of the Pro Plus, but good enough to power a 5000 mAh battery. It was advertised to fully charge the phone in 45 minutes as opposed to 30 minutes of the Pro Plus. Not bad considering the price of the phone. Now let's do a benchmark test to see how this performs on speed test, and we're using the Geekbench 6. So after the test and comparing this with the Pro Plus, it has 736 in single core and 2014 in multi-cores. That's a decent number for a mid-range phone. Of course, the newer Dimensity 7200 Ultra of the Pro Plus is better in terms of benchmark test, but I feel that a combination of G99 and 8GB up to 12GB of RAM is still pretty solid. Also, this phone does not support 5G network, so if you have a 5G ready SIM, this can only support 4G. It will still work, but you won't get the full potential of a 5G network. And for our last highlight, Xiaomi has also given this phone dual speakers, although it wasn't advertised to be stereo, but the sound quality is pretty solid. Here's the sample. So I think that's it for the unboxing and first impression. I will use this phone for a few days and give you my full review and my personal experience of using this phone. So after almost a week of testing this phone, this is our full review. Let's start with the performance and camera, which I feel are two of the most important feedback for reviewers. So my wife and I are both using the Redmi Note 13 Pro and Pro Plus. She's a casual to average user, while I'm an average to heavy user because I've been doing a little bit of gaming on these smartphones. I could say for average users, there's not much of a difference between the more expensive Pro Plus. I mean, for social media browsing and communication, it will be a breeze. For someone like me who plays games, the Helio G99 Ultra is a really good chipset. On Mobile Legends, it can play super high frame rates and ultra graphics. I only play an hour or two. I never get any hiccups while playing games. Obviously, if you extend your playing time, then once it overheats, you may get stuttering here and there. I'm getting used to the MIUI 14. You can change the folder size, you can switch between the drawer or everything on the home screen. Too many customizations that you can do on the phone. You can choose even your theme on wallpaper on their theme app. It has a healthy 256GB of storage, and you can add a lot of apps and media on this phone, but in case you need more storage, then there's a legacy micro SD card expansion. Overall, the performance is really solid and I have no complaints of using this phone. Feels like any other mid-range phone. The cameras of this phone are really good as well, especially on well-lit environment. I mean, this would take really good photos and videos. By default, it shoots high dynamic range images, so I like the exposure of the images. It's more on the natural side. The skin tone is not as warm as you can see on Samsung or iPhone, but you have filter if you want to beautify your subject. There's ultra-wide, wide, and macro capabilities, so you can really punch in and do some close-up shots. Generally, the colors are natural and the images are on the brighter side. I'm currently shooting a camera comparison video of this phone, so don't forget to subscribe. Going to the video recording, you have the usual time-lapse and slow motion, and both the ultra-wide and main sensor can record up to Full HD. There's no 4K video recording on this phone, but for casual vloggers or videos, I think 1080p is good enough. Here's a sample video of all the sensors on Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro. This is the video test or the vlogging test on Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro using the selfie camera, full HD at 30 FPS. There's no 4K on any of the sensors, so every shot will be the same. Now let's switch to the rear camera. Now this is the rear camera using the main sensor, again 1080p at 30 FPS. Right now I'm outside and it's minus 35 here in Canada, so it's freezing cold. A little bit of flaring here and against the light. Now let's switch to the ultra wide sensor. And this is the ultra wide, and this is the field of view you would get on the 0.6 on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro. If you're vlogging, I would suggest to use this focal length because it gives you a wider field of view and you would be able to get more on your background. So every sensors on this phone, from the selfie camera, main sensor, and ultra wide, all of them are shooting 1080p at 30 FPS. Sadly, there's no 4K, but if you like 4K video recording, you can upgrade to the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus. Let's do the zoom test. So this is 0.6 and this is 1x and this is 2x on Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro.
Now give me that.
So this is an indoor shot of the selfie video recording, again 1080p. Just for reference, because there's a little bit of color inside, because outside there's snow, like my previous test on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus. Outside it's all white. So this is the colors you would see on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro. And this is the video quality, the colors on the main sensor. My nose is a little bit red because it's so cold outside. By the way, if you want to watch the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G review, I will leave the video link on the description. In terms of smartphone durability, I'm really comfortable using this phone over the Pro Plus because of the flat screen. If I put the case, then this phone will be protected. Even though I drop this phone unless it's face down, I feel like the phone will survive even a few feet high. Also, even though 1/3 of the back is open on the case, I haven't had any scratches on the phone and I feel like it will be sturdy enough to withstand any drops and beatings. This is IP54 rated, so it will withstand splashes. I've been holding this phone outdoors on snowy days and I never had any issues with it. Talking about being an entertainment-centric phone, I love the large 6.67-inch AMOLED screen, although it's not curved, but I feel like it's good enough watching movies and content online. If I go outdoors, I have no issue watching content on this phone because the screen brightness is really good. Also, to pair with the awesome screen is a good audio quality. It has dual speakers left and right on landscape or top to bottom on portrait. If you're doing gaming, it's super immersive because you have sound on both sides of the phone. Also, if you're watching videos. And lastly, battery life. It has a 5000 mAh battery, and with my type of usage, this would be an easy 2-day phone for me. I'm doing an hour of gaming, couple of hours of social media, watching movies, casual texts and calls. I could reach the following day with 20 to 25% remaining. And using the 67 watts fast charger, I could reach full battery in less than an hour. Overall, I would say from the performance of the phone, camera, battery life, and the AMOLED screen, you cannot beat the value of Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro. This might be one of the best value mid-range phone of 2024, and adding that legacy micro SD card slot and the headphone jack, this phone is evolution and legacy combined.